So, hi, I'm Christina Costa, and I'm a Reiki teacher based in Brentwood in Essex. And I'm here this morning with Rachel Stoneley. So, Rachel is a proud mummy, and she's the co founder of an online wellbeing platform called Wild for Purpose. So, thanks so much for agreeing to be here today, Rachel.
Thank you for having me.
So I was looking into my notes and I realized that you completed your Reiki 2 training with me, I think 2 years ago.
Wow, has it been that
So
long?
I was surprised as well. It doesn't feel that
Yeah.
long, but
Mhm.
but wow, what a time. And so I'm really interested to hear if you could explain a little bit about how your life has changed since then. So kind of what are you doing before training and what are you up to now?
Yeah, oh wow, like so many changes since then. So well, yeah, as you said already, I'm now a mum. I have a daughter, she's 1 year old. So that's probably the biggest change that has happened since then. Um, and the other one being that, yeah, I've just set up a business with some friends, an online platform. Um, it's funny how like life kind of goes in directions that you don't really expect. But yeah, I definitely um, feel like the Reiki training and having that in my life has really like not only benefited my life, but like um, opened up like new opportunities to it as well. If that makes sense, you know when you're just feeling more like centered and more grounded and yeah, just more like synchronicities kind of happen. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Actually, one of them being you getting in touch with me for this, really, because you obviously said, oh, if you've got like a Reiki business and stuff, and we can talk about that. And I was like, did I mention Wild for Purpose? It's not exactly a Reiki business, but it's just funny that like it's meant to go live today, and then it was the timing of you messaging is just really yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't realize you were launching it today. Wow, how
Yes, I was
exciting.
like, well, if it all comes together, that is the plan anyway. I don't know if there's going to be a delay. But yeah, so I was like busy working on my laptop last night and then got your message, and I was like, that's really strange. But obviously, at the same time, when you got like this in your life, it also isn't strange because, yeah.
Exactly. And that is one of the things we discuss on the course
Mm,
about how energy connects people.
yeah,
And connection is really a fundamental idea behind Reiki. And I think it's happened to many people, these kind of synchronicities. I mean, the one I always use in my courses is when you think of someone and they call.
yeah.
So it's really great to hear that when these things come back because it's lovely, it kind of is little ways to prove to ourselves that it is possible to connect to someone even without physically picking up a phone and
Oh
calling
God,
them.
yeah. No,
Mm.
definitely. Talking of like the connection, I've definitely like ways to connect with someone without physically being right next to them. That actually on the course, that was the thing about it that blew my mind the most. I think like distant Reiki still does. I've had it a few times now where my daughter's sort of unsettled upstairs, and it hasn't worked every time, but tested it where I've connected to her without going upstairs
Mm.
to see what happens. Um, yeah, I think for me that's the biggest proof of Reiki because I think before doing it, if I'm honest, I was probably like a bit of a cynic, like until it came into my life. Um, so I love having proof, and Phoebe obviously has no understanding, no concept of like Reiki, what it is, and everything. It's not like I sometimes used to question for myself, like, oh, is it just that I thought it was going to work, so it did, like getting in my head about it. But the evidence with Phoebe is really clear because she doesn't have that thought process. It just yeah works.
Yeah. So what changes do you notice in her that proves to you that the Reiki is working on her?
She's just such a happy like little soul, and yeah, like even in the hospital actually when I had her, it was a really like difficult birth experience. And they come round to the babies and they do like a heel prick test, like a blood test from their heel. um, and like Phoebe was really awake at the time when the nurses came round, and they were like, oh, she's going to get really upset, just so you know. um, and I decided to give her Reiki when they were doing it, and she didn't cry at all. And the nurses were just, the midwives were like, Oh my goodness, like, I can't believe that she's just completely unfazed by it. But yeah, it was little moments like that that sometimes happen. Um,
Wow,
it's not
that's
to say that it's all plain sailing or anything like that, like being a parent definitely has its challenges and stuff. But yeah, it's just having those moments is really nice. Mm.
absolutely, and I think that's a really good thing for people who haven't done Reiki to understand that Reiki doesn't solve all of your problems.
Mm. Mhm.
You know, even if you're a Reiki practitioner, you still get colds, you still have problems in your life. But what it does give you is an extra tool, an extra technique to help you get through these things more easily.
Yeah.
And how wonderful! I love that
Mm.
story you just shared about your daughter, because that's in my opinion, it's exactly what Reiki's for. It's for these moments that come up in life, and you think, you know what, I'm going to send some Reiki, and
Mm.
and it helped her.
It does. I think as well it helps just me and her, like, when I'm not with her, like, she's, just have that connection, like, she goes to nursery now a couple of days a week, and she's absolutely fine being dropped off, like, which is another thing that's really nice, like,
Mm,
yeah, I do still, like, I know that this isn't just the Reiki. I'm sure every parent feels that way, that you sense the connection even when you're not with them. But I just think it helps to, like, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, um, like strengthen it maybe, or just
mm.
feel a bit more secure, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, because you're quite right. There is, and everyone has a natural instinct and ability for those things. I really believe that
Mm.
anybody can learn Reiki and these practices. But when you've actually trained to send somebody distant Reiki, and you've practiced it, and you've doubted yourself, and then you've spoken to them and they say, wow, this happened and that happened and I felt energy, it's a way to build trust. So you're building trust in the process. So you know it's possible to connect to someone and to feel this connection.
Yeah.
So perhaps that's what you mean by strength then, is that you can connect to her, and you know that you can kind of feel this connection. And Reiki is a wonderful thing for reassurance.
Yeah.
And I think personally, I've experienced similar situations, and it's just wonderful to be able to do a quick, okay, yeah, it's all good. And yeah.
Definitely. Mhm.
Oh, how wonderful. I'll never forget when you came to the first Reiki share with Phoebe. And was she 2 weeks old?
Oh, something like that. She was tiny, wasn't she? Yeah.
Tiny.
Mm.
And yeah, she's definitely the youngest youngest person that we've ever given Reiki to.
Yeah. I mean, she loved it. She slept for like 3 hours, didn't she? She's just like enjoying all the energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Mhm.
what a lovely thing to be able to offer
Mhm.
your baby. I just think it's
I mean,
been
she had
lovely watching.
Vicky from you actually even before she was born, didn't she? She felt her like kicking.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
so, mm.
Trying to get you up on the table.
Yeah, that was
You
the
were really
challenge,
big at the
wasn't
time.
it? Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
And then, so a question I have for you is how do you fit Reiki into your everyday life? Obviously, you've got a business, you've got a baby, you're married, lots going on. So how do
not
you find
married.
time? Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm sure I
But you
need
have a lovely partner, I know.
um yeah, like it's a good question. I don't always, if I'm totally honest, fit it into my everyday life. I'm sometimes guilty of using it more when I need to use it. Does that make
Mhm.
sense? If I'm already like having a good day and things are fine, then I sometimes, because I'm busy with Phoebe and everything, don't always use it. However, at the time, weirdly, like when I have used it on like those good days, it's the time when I've felt it'd be the most powerful actually. So it's like good to remember to, yeah, not just make it a solution to a problem. Um,
Mm.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah, absolutely. I don't manage to practice Reiki every day.
know.
So please don't feel there's this impossible standard you have to live up to. But I think it's really interesting to notice when you do practice and when you don't, so that you can kind of track the difference that it makes to your day.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that I've tried to do, and that way you can prove to yourself, okay, it's worth my time, because actually when I do it, all these other things click into place and things happen more easily and I feel better. Certainly that's my experience anyway. But I think, but Reiki is also, it's something that, yes, it's great to sit down and do a full meditation if you can. But if you're super busy, you've got a baby, you've got a job, you can use it in moments. And that is exactly what Reiki is for. It's like, okay, I've got a few minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe I can just close my eyes and just
Yep.
do a very quick
Yeah.
session and
That
fit
is
it in.
definitely like, yeah, how I would say I would fit it in when I do use it. Yeah, just little pockets of time when you can still do something, can't you? Mm.
Absolutely,
I like to
absolutely.
reiki my water as well. Got like a jug of water in the fridge. But yeah.
Yes, well, it's fantastic using Reiki on water. We know from some scientific experiments on water crystals that it actually increases the purity of water, which
Mm.
again is mind blowing.
I know. Yeah. No, definitely. And it does make me like think of us being like obviously like predominantly water as well.
Mm.
But
Do you
yeah.
consistently Reiki your water then?
Yeah, that is probably in terms of like the thing that I could do consistently, I'd say it was that more than anything else. Like obviously I still like use it with Phoebe a lot and everything, and but yeah, I've got a jug in the fridge. But yeah.
Excellent. Oh, that's great. So that's 2 years then since I told you about the water. So
Yeah,
that's
I
a
think
long
when you told
time,
me that, yeah, it's just
long time to be doing that.
hmm.
And why do you think you're still doing it now? What benefits or
Um, that's a good question. I think I found it fascinating. Like, yeah, with the Reiki experiments, there's also, I'm going to probably pronounce the name wrong. It, it wasn't to do with Reiki necessarily, but there was a guy, is it Masaru Emoto? Where he looked again at like the positive intentions and like prayer that you can give to water. So yeah, it's really aligned with Reiki. So I looked up that as well and looked at some of the crystals and stuff.
is that Hidden Messages in Water, that book?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I don't know. I think it's just probably again because I was a cynic and I'm somebody that likes proof, like seeing the images like literally there of like the molecular structure of the water. I don't know. It kind of like it's just really satisfying. Yeah, and yeah, and again, it's just another way like to be practicing even when you are busy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because you can Reiki the water when you have a moment, maybe when Phoebe's
Yeah,
asleep or in the evening, and then you can drink that Reiki water for for the
yeah,
next few days. So
yeah, I
exactly.
give it to her as well. So yeah,
So you are using Reiki daily.
yeah, I think like yeah, I am.
In whatever way it comes through, it
Yeah,
definitely still counts. Oh, that's amazing to hear.
yeah,
Fantastic. And
yeah.
then my last question for you
Mhm.
is, how do you use Reiki in your professional life?
Um, that's a good question, actually. I think um, for me, it probably would be. I think it comes back to the Reiki principles that you shared. I've got that little framed thing that you gave us still in a room upstairs, and I think for me, when it comes to like my professional life, I tend to have a lot of doubts, a lot of worries, a lot of like feeling like I can't do something. Um, so yeah, like that principle of do not worry. I think like rather than like using it exactly for my professional life, it's just a way to calm me down, if that makes sense, and like bring me back to the present moment so that I can, yeah, like let the fears kind of subside a bit before being able to, yeah. I think so often in my life I've allowed like doubts and fears and insecurities to hold me back. So
Mm.
again, I think in terms of my professional life, just being able to have like a tool to be able to like, yeah, quieten that and like, yeah, I think that would be my answer. And then hopefully I'll be using it more in my professional life once I set up a Reiki practice.
Yes, absolutely. And that will be directly using
Yeah.
a Reiki hand. So, oh,
Mm.
well, I really look forward to when you're ready to make that step. You know, I'll always be here to support you. So,
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
well, thank you so much for talking to me this morning, Rachel. It's been really great to hear, and I'm sure other people will be very interested in your experiences. So, thank
Oh, it's lovely to speak to you as well.